All right, so Chargers at pick 85 select Daiyan Henley, the linebacker from
Okay.
Washington State.
All right.
This is apparently we're in the bootleg football draft dream scenario because they love Keely Tuipulotu. They
Yeah.
love Daiyan Henley. This is an interesting one. I mean, again, this is definitely a linebacker profile that Tom Telesco really loves. This is your Drew Tranquil replacement, in my opinion, in terms of a coverage linebacker. You know, this is a guy who was a former receiver, former safety, tons of athletic traits here. You know, so this is I like this blend with the linebacker room with Eric Kendricks as your linebacker one. Kenneth Murray is more of your maybe pass rushing linebacker, downhill linebacker, and then Henley can come in and give you some pass rushing juice as well. So you know, we just talked about linebacker being a potential need with Trenton Simpson on the board. Instead, they go with Daiyan Henley. So this is a Senior Bowl standout as well. So certainly checked a lot of boxes for the Chargers.
Yeah, tons of boxes for the Chargers. I'm going to pull up the scouting report because it's been a while since we trugged through that linebacker episode. Henley was one of the guys that I really thought that there were some other guys who maybe had a bit more upside, and that's why they were higher. But truthfully, Henley was one of the guys that there's a whole back half of this linebacker group where they just could not diagnose. And I thought Henley was one of the better sorters and diagnosers of the group, and that's why I put him up so high. Linebacker 4 for me with a 3rd round grade. So I'm actually really pretty stoked about this one. Would I have preferred maybe a defensive player, like a defensive back here? Maybe. But I think it's a really good spot for him. And I think, you know, we talked about the linebacker potential overhaul that could happen. And so far we're seeing it. So I really like this for him. I'm really curious what this means for, let's say, like a Kyle Van Noy. Now they've gone sort of edge, although not stand-up outside linebacker type. Now they do have a linebacker who can blitz and rush. So I like this one for the Chargers. I really do like this one. And I've watched him.
Hey, I said that they wouldn't reach in round 3. This is like perfect value for him.
Yeah, no, this is really, really good.
Look at Tom Telesco breaking barriers.
He did it. He did it.
He did it. He did.
So finally, someone asked me if Simpson or Henley ranked higher. I think I had Simpson ranked higher, given I think it came down to coverage for me. Let me go back in the notes. I certainly don't remember much about linebacker.
He's played like defense, you know, for longer. But I think Henley was right there next to him. So this is really kind of like pick your poison for me. This is kind of a toss up. So, you know, like I said, I like the player here. I would have loved one of the corners at this point in time. Like I said, I'm shocked that Ringo and Rush keep falling. But Daiyan Henley, man, I think he's a really good player. He's not going to get to wear his college number, though, because Quentin Johnson just took it from him. Mm-hmm. He wore number 1, obviously. But somebody who gives you a lot of speed, a lot of coverage ability. So I'm a little tad concerned about like just the overall physicality, but you know, he's one of the few linebackers in this class that actually intrigued me outside of Jack Campbell. So this is kind of your sub package linebacker to me, and I'm cool with it. You know, being able to play behind Eric Kendricks and Kenneth Murray right now.
Yeah. So here's what I have on Henley in terms of like just notes I wrote down. I have no idea what Washington State did with this guy, but he transferred after 4 seasons at Nevada. Yeah. Had a career year, 40 run stops, 18 pressures, 5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and a pick, which sounds like a lot like a bunch of guys who racked up the stats, but they weren't able to diagnose. I think Henley does read an offense fairly well as a former wide receiver, and as a guy who's asked to attack and rush so much. That sets him apart from the other guys in the group. He plays aggressive. He blitzes with strength and speed. You can rush him from all over. You know, I would love to see him going from a bat out of hell to try to, you know, rope in and finish plays that he's set up, but he blows past the line of scrimmage, rushes really fast past the guards at times, just a bit too far upfield, but there's a ton of true potential here. So LB4 for me, Campbell was 1, then Sanders, then Simpson, then Henley. And then the difference between Simpson and Henley for me was more just you knew a lot more about Simpson, and I think Simpson was better overall in coverage. But for a guy who really hadn't had much of a career so far and had to switch from wide receiver, you're feeling pretty good about him so far. So I really like this pick for the Chargers.